Would you like a pay increase? Could you take a longer vacation? You would, without a doubt. In the event that you are anything like me, one of the primary things that drives you to go to work each day is the possibility of rising in your job, earning more money, or even gaining more time off to concentrate on things that are important to you outside of your professional life. The most important aspect that makes any of this feasible is the increasing productivity of workers. The more effectively we perform our duties, the more our employers will be able to justify paying us, whether it is in the form of a wage or on a leisure basis. And one of the most significant weaknesses of the economy in recent times has been a slowdown in the expansion of labor productivity, a phenomenon that may be able to shed some light on the predicament that the typical American worker has been facing in recent years. The United States Department of Labor once made the announcement that the rate of increase in labor productivity in the second quarter of this year was just 0.9%, following a decline of 1.7% in the first quarter. Additionally, these numbers are not an exception. The productivity of workers has only increased at an annual rate of 0.7% over the past 3 years, according to a paper that was released last week by economists Michael Ferroli and Robert Mellman of JPMorgan Chase. This is in contrast to the average growth rate of 2.9% of worker productivity from 1995 to 2005. And as Ferroli and Mellman point out, the slowdown in technology growth has coincided with the decline in productivity growth, which began even before the recession. This slowdown in technological growth may be assessed by the rate at which computer equipment has grown more affordable in recent years. Over the past few years, the real price of information processing equipment and software has declined at the slowest pace in more than a generation, the research states. This is the slowest pace of decline in the history of the industry. Consequently, why is it significant that the rate of technological advancement has slowed down? Technology is considered by economists to be one of the primary factors that contribute to the productivity of workers. An organization that makes investments in cutting-edge technologies, such as new computers, software, or high-speed internet, gives its employees the ability to perform their duties in a more effective manner. Over the course of the last generation, we have witnessed a remarkable decrease in the cost of high-tech equipment, which has been the primary driver of a significant portion of our recent economic expansion, particularly during the years of economic expansion that occurred in the 1990s. What the most recent data regarding the pricing of information technology equipment imply is that the efficiency benefits brought about by the digital revolution may be beginning to wane, and this will have a direct impact on our capacity to become more efficient workers. And if we want to get back to the worker productivity increases we were enjoying a decade ago, we need to find out a way to foster the kind of technology innovation that has led to prior rounds of sharp productivity growth. This is the only way we can get back to where we were. Obviously, this brings up the age-old topic that economists have been debating for decades. What are the factors that lead to innovation? Conservative economists have a tendency to believe that the inventiveness of entrepreneurs is the primary source of innovation. They are based on a principle that is commonly referred to as Say's law, which was named after the French economist Jean-Baptiste Say. This principle argues that supply creates its own demand. During the time when Steve Jobs was designing the iPhone, for example, there was no demand for the product. The significance of the product's demand can be attributed to the fact that it was initially created. Since the introduction of the iPhone in 2007, the market for smartphones has significantly expanded, and businesses all over the world have made significant investments in these devices in order to ensure that their employees are able to remain connected at all times and perform their jobs more effectively. According to this point of view, the entrepreneur is the one who is responsible for growth. Hence, we need to do everything in our power to prevent the entrepreneur from losing his motivation to create. It is important to note that the entrepreneur is not the only source of increased productivity. Companies can simply increase their investments in research and development, intellectual property, and technology that is already in existence. According to the report, the growth of this type of spending has slowed down from an average of 4.7% per year in 1980 to 2000 to 2.8% per year during the past 10 years. This is a significant change from the previous pace of growth, which was 4.7% per year. And when you ask businesses why they aren't spending as much on research and development as they did in the past, or why corporate investment in general hasn't rebounded as much as it did after previous recessions, they respond that it is because there is a lack of demand from customers. Additionally, this is the reason why liberals have a tendency to advocate for government stimulus in order to jolt the economy into what they hope will be a self-sustaining virtuous circle of higher demand and growth. This is especially true during a period of time when interest rates are so low and, as a result, the cost of action is relatively cheap. You are correct if you have the impression that this debate is resembling something that you have experienced before. The discussion over the reasons behind the slowdown in productivity development is similar to many of the political disputes that are currently taking place. One side of the debate emphasizes the inventiveness of the producer class, while the other side emphasizes the soundness of the consumer class. If everything went according to plan, an economy would have a class of risk-taking entrepreneurs and a consumer class that is healthy and self-assured. At the moment, we do not have either of them, and we are not really certain which one should come first. The productivity of workers in the United States has been decreasing. Before the data from the most recent quarter, the nation had experienced 5 straight quarters of year-over-year losses in worker productivity. This trend continued until the present quarter. Since the Bureau of Labor Statistics began keeping track of the data in 1948, this extended productivity dip is the first case of its kind, according to Greg Dacko, chief economist of EY Parthenon. And although the reasons for the drop could be up for debate, the economic repercussions are far-reaching and can be experienced in every sector of the economy. Sluggish growth is a direct result of sedentary productivity. It means that wage growth will be slow and that living standards will continue to rise. Furman explained, in the context of the economy, it is significant for virtually everything. It is the recurring difficulty of low productivity growth in these regions that is referred to as the productivity problem in the United States of America and North America. The expansion of productivity is an essential component for the sustained growth of the economy and the enhancement of living standards over the long term. When the rate of development in productivity is low, it interferes with the advancement of the economy and makes it more difficult to generate better wages, profits, and general prosperity. According to a number of different metrics and evaluations, the issue of low productivity in the United States of America and throughout North America has been recognized. Among the most important observations are slow production rate for each worker. It is concerning that the pace of output increase per worker has been rather moderate in recent years, despite the fact that technological improvements and innovations have been made. This has led to concerns regarding the overall levels of productivity. Real pay stagnation. The absence of major productivity improvements has been a contributing factor in real wage stagnation or slow growth, which can have an effect on the standard of living for individuals and families. Growth in total factor productivity, TFP, that is sluggish. Taking into account both labor and capital inputs, total factor productivity, TFP, is a measurement of how efficiently goods and services are produced. The sluggish rise of total factor productivity, TFP, is indicative of a lack of progress in effectively and creatively exploiting resources. Particular difficulties for the industry. The construction industry, the education sector, and the healthcare industry are some of the industries that have been highlighted as having special productivity issues. These challenges are caused by variables such as legislative limits, the dynamics of the labor market, and the complexity of operations. The problem of low productivity has been brought to light through a variety of economic studies, statistical data, and comparisons with other countries or regions that are experiencing higher productivity growth. It is currently the subject of ongoing research and policy discussions with the goal of identifying the underlying causes of the productivity gap and implementing strategies to address it. What do you think? Share with us in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching our video, then do like, share, and subscribe to our channel before leaving.